everybody, and welcome to another live stream from the Faculty of Computing, Engineering and Media. My name is May. I'm part of the student recruitment team here, and I'll be hosting today's live stream. Before I introduce my guests, please let us know if you're watching and do put some comments into the comment section. Today's topic is focused on studying engineering at De Montfort University, and I'll be joined by two of our academics from the faculty who specialise in different areas of engineering, and they'll be here to help answer any questions that you might have about the courses and tell us all about what you can expect if you choose to study engineering here. So do let us know, as I say, if you are watching, and ask any questions, and then towards the end of the live stream we will answer any questions that you have that you'd like to know more about. So as we're seeing more and more people joining the live stream, I'd like to introduce our two academics, Danny and Farouk. So over to you, Danny, first of all, just to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Danny Harmanto. I am the Associate Professor in Aeronautical Engineering, and also I am the Program Leader for the MSc Autonomous Engineering at DMU.
Fantastic, thank you. And
Thank you.
Farouk?
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Farouk. I'm the Senior Lecturer in Mechanical Engineering, and I'm also the Program Leader for MSc Mechanical Engineering.
Fantastic, thank you. So I think we're going to start with Danny, and he's going to take us through a presentation just to tell us a little bit more about his area of expertise.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen. So for a few minutes, I'm going to start sharing my screen. I think is it that one? Right, so it will be about 10 minutes, and then I will hand it over to May. So we try to have a look at why you actually studying engineering at DMU. Most of our undergraduate last time will have approximately about 100%, we say almost 100%, that we are actually go into further study or go to work. And also majority of our PG and UG also are accredited by IMechE or IET. And then we also use the industry standard facilities and software tools in every part of engineering, creating the concept through visual testing. Our relationship with world leading organizations like the MTC, Violent, Emerson, Process and Automation, Caterpillar, Roche, so forth, through our industrial liaison committee ensure we have the specialist knowledge and the skill. Now, this one is real because they are actually driven our program, and they also to be actively involved in developing our program. So most of our program is actually developed by the industry. Now, most of our graduates go to Airbus UK, BMW, Cummins, Generator Technology, and Siemens. And also some of them go straight from undergraduate to our PG, which is quite good, or become a PhD student. This one is the overall of our department. So we cover a lot by only talking about the aeronautical engineering on the PG and also the MN, which is we call it integrated master degree. So we offer two MNs and also MSc. The MNs you have to do the BNs first. So continuous study for 4 years, or you can do MSc if actually you graduate from undergraduate, like the mechanical or aeronautical engineering, which is only take 1 year as a full time. This is the first year, so I'm going to just make it very quick on this one because this one is only the integrated master degree on MN, so we're only looking at the year 4 on that one, but I will concentrate itself on the MSc Aeronautical Engineering. Now, we haven't running this one yet, but this is the first year we're going to run in September. So we will have a first semester, which is a start from September until December. So you will have instrumentation and sensor. You got a business environment, which is required by the IMechE and Royal Aeronautical. Also, you study the unmanned, then you have to select one of the options, with is digital manufacturing or structural integrity. Once you finish with that one, you move on into semester 2. With, as you can see, you got advanced flight dynamics, study skills and research method, CFD, and then you have one of the option out of the 3. So you can do, for example, if you want to become the manager, then you can choose the system operation and management. If you want to work in the MRO, then you can take the maintenance, repair, and overall. Or you can actually do the materials if you're interested of developing your skill on that. And then the last one, which is a semester 3 until July, until August, then you will have to do the dissertation on its own. So it gives you much more time to concentrate on dissertation, but it's very limited time. So you can concentrate and then talk to your supervisor instead. So this one is some of the video that we actually show you, and I hope it will work with the sound.
So we developed aeronautical engineering at DMU in order to support the government's drive of training aeronautical engineers into the sector. The aerospace sector in the UK is the largest in Europe and it's the second largest in the world. It employs 95,000 people at present. With the government's planned drive, the requirements for more aeronautical engineers are going to increase, particularly in the East Midlands. And being an East Midlands university, we felt best placed to provide this program to ensure that we can meet local demand. The program is delivered over 3 or 4 years, depending on what the student wants to do, if they want a placement or not. And it's taught both as lectures, tutorials, project-based learning, and obviously some self-directed training. We've invested about £1 million into this program with the purchase of a wind tunnel, a flight simulator, and I'm very supportive of the development of an aeronautics club so students can engage in autonomous flights, vehicles, drones, etc. In summary, we'll give you the skills required by the sector as well as transferable skills. We'll also give you a global outlook, particularly as we move into the 4th industrial revolution. The world is only going to get smaller. If you want to find out more about aeronautical engineering at DMU, I look forward to welcoming you at an open day.
And we also have a teaching. This is actually been emphasized through the department, but the research informed teaching, as we actually always win a prize in our department every year for the last 4 years in our faculty. So we are actually very good on developing a teaching is informed by research, and also majority of our staff is actually produce a high quality excellent paper which is included on the ref. And this is another video that you can see is some of the research actually related to the aeronautical engineering. And this is a facility that you actually will be able to use if you actually have a dissertation on that. So let's take off for a few more. Right, so this is some of the facilities. So with this is we've got wind tunnel, we've got the flight simulator, and this is some of the work bench that we can actually use if you have some of hands-on, like if you want to do formula student probably. And this is the formula student that you can actually see on the workshop, which is quite beautiful workshop and very clean. And if you would like to do the student society, we have few of them. First is the DMU Racing, which is developing the single seater here, and you actually compete as a team at Silverstone circuit. We also have an electronic clubs, and it's still growing because we actually now proposing to do the Sail Eco Marathon, and also we have a drone competition using the by the MXE. So if you are interested on either one of them and wants to have hands-on, then you can have involved with the society. So this is what the last one, I think, is teaching excellent informed research, and we are actually the best performing schools within the DMU. And student liaison, the Emerson actually is the main chairman on that, and they are very, very active of developing our program. Thank you for listening. So there we go, and I will stop sharing, and I'll give it back to May.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing all that information with us, Danny. As I say, do let us know if you have any questions from anyone watching. And then now we're going to hear from Dr. Farouk, just to see what you'd like to tell us.
So let me just get the presentation on. So I will talk about the MSc Mechanical Engineering. I will try to keep my presentation very brief and very focused on the course. And then I just want to give you more time to ask me the questions, should you have any related to the course or general engagement of the, not within the course, but in general outside the university campus, and all these questions. If you have any, what are the facilities are available? Whatever the question you have, just feel free to ask. But I will try to keep it very brief and give you, still like to give you the idea what mechanical engineering is about. So first thing is basically what's the scope of the mechanical engineering. If you go to the next slide, is you will build in this course is basically on the qualification which you have got in your undergraduate qualification. So you will learn on what we will do. We'll give you the education on some of the very specific topics and specific subjects which basically industry is looking forward to. There is some the skill shortage in industry, specifically in local industry in UK. So we'll give you focus more on those areas, and we'll give graduate the chance to broaden their knowledge, but and the skills whatever they have got in their undergraduate courses. And most important thing that this course is accredited at the CH level. So which means whenever you will finish your degree with the required experience, you will be able to get your chartered engineer certification at the end of this course. Okay, next thing what I would like to talk about the program structure, which is on the next slide. In this program, we have what we have introduced, the way the program has been designed. We have several modules, and we are giving the opportunity to the students to choose the modules, 2 modules in each semester. So there will be 2 compulsory modules, which you could see in blues in the first semester, and then list of the black modules you could see in the black color font. These are the optional modules you could choose from. And then in second semester, again, you could see 2 modules which are in the middle of the slide, followed by some black modules. You could pick 2 modules from those optional modules. And the idea to give these options is basically you could pick the modules which suits you better. Or for example, some students, just to give you the idea, if some students are coming from the industries and their industries want to develop some specific skills in them, which is useful for them, then they could choose those particular modules to develop those skills or build on those areas. And in the third semester, you will have the opportunity to go and get engaged in the individual project. I will talk about the individual project in a minute in further detail when I talk about the other opportunities. In the next slide, please, could you please go to the next slide? The third semester, which is the project. In the project, mostly I would like to mention here that there is the staff on my program, MSc Mechanical Engineering, almost 100% staff is research active. So which means you will have the opportunity to get involved in a project which is from a bigger picture. If you look into the bigger picture, that will be a very research intensive project. So you will do some part of that research project which will be used in the real life. Not only this, there are some other activities going on. For example, Dr. Danny already mentioned about the competitions like the DMU Racing competition, flight club competition. So there will be some projects related to those competitions. So you will have the opportunity. The main idea which I'm trying to give you here, you will have the opportunity where you will be, to do the project which is related to the real life. You could see how the theories and the other techniques you have learned in your lectures, how that could be implemented in the real life. So that you will get that opportunity in the individual project, and you will be getting the opportunity to work on the to solve some real life problem as an engineer. Can you go to the next slide, please? As I already mentioned, DMU Racing Club. This is basically it's a competition organized by the IMEC, the racing competition, where the students from not only from the UK but from other parts of the world as well, they compete in there, and they develop a car which compete in this competition. We do have a society here which is called DMU Racing Society. They do participate in this competition, and there will be some projects and working related to that car. So you will have the opportunity to get involved with those students and then do the projects related to the DMU Racing should you like to do that. And the one thing which I like to mention here is the DMU Racing is club is fully operated by the students. They will have dedicated budget. They will have their own person. They will have the control on the full budget where they like to buy the things from the market, what thing they need to buy, where they need to spend the money on. They will have the full control. The reason I'm saying specifically on the procurement of the things, because this is seen sometimes as a student, this is seen as we are not allowed to buy the stuffs, or we are not allowed to choose the stuffs which we need to buy from the market. No, for this type of competition, we want to give the students the full opportunity to work on the design, build, development, testing, each and everything. So if you, let's say, get involved in this type of project, you have the opportunity to start from the beginning till the end to see how the engineering project works. And that is very relevant to the year to get a job in the industry, specifically related to the manufacturing industry. The link to this one, the DMU Racing, this video, which I'd like to mention, if you want to get further information, how the students get involved in this type, is link is given below here. If you go to this link, you should be able to get further information, how the competition looks like, what to expect from that competition, and all the rest of the information. The link is given on your screen at the moment. Thank you. So building upon that, another opportunity which students will be able to get is the placement year. I know this project, generally the MSc is just 1 year long, but still you will have the opportunity to get the placement within the university, within the industry, and work within for the industry for 1 year. There is a dedicated placement team in the university. You will be able to, they have the opportunity to work with them. They will let you know, they polish your application. They will guide you how to apply and target some specific placement should you have any in your mind. And then if you manage to get that placement, that the university will provide you the support for the 12 months period during your placement. And in terms of the sport, when I say the sport, there will be a specific person from the Montfort University placement team, a placement tutor, which we call here. He will be allocated to you, and he will basically work with you, plus he will visit you at least twice throughout this 12 months period time to make sure that whatever you are working for in the industry, basically you are meeting your targets and you are learning something during your placement. So you won't be left alone, even though that placement period time, you won't be left alone. You will be working very closely with the Montfort placement team. And that's a very good opportunity. Some of our previous students, one of my recent student of my course, he managed to get the placement for the one of the leading manufacturing industry in the UK. The reason I'm not saying the name, I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to say the name of that industry or not. But he managed to get the placement for 12 months period time, and as a result of this, he managed to get the job in that industry because the skills he managed to develop there, and the way he managed to convince them that the way his work and all these things, he managed to get the job at the end of the 12 months period. So that's sometimes it's worth to consider if for some of the MSc students if you're looking for the placement. Building on the teaching and assessment, I would like to keep it very brief so that you get more chance to ask the question should you have any. It will be a mix of lectures, tutorials, and lab sessions. So you'll have all these three modes of teachings. You will be given the lectures, there will be some tutorials and seminars, and there will be lab sessions as well. And it won't be affected by this pandemic, which is COVID, which we know as COVID-19. It won't be affected by that. As a university, we are working hard to make sure that we give you the best student experience as much as we can. And there will be opportunities to, again, I mentioned earlier, you could ask me the question, but I'm trying to give you the idea. The lectures could be online, but there will be tutorials where you could manage the students with the social distances. We will run the tutorials in the lab session, in the seminars. In terms of the lab, there are various ways of doing the labs. For example, the lab could be run remotely. Another opportunity which we are looking at, that will be varying from module to module, but some of the modules will be sending out the equipment to the students, which we call it lab in a box. So you will have the opportunity to have the equipment at your own and do the experiment, and we'll provide you the instructions. So you will be able to do the experimentation using those kits. And the third way of doing it is basically we will basically, let's say, for the equipment, so that depends on the, again, module. So we'll record this session for you from the beginning till the end, to how the equipment is used and all these things, and we'll generate the data sets which we actually wanted from that equipment to generate, and we'll pass this data set to the students, and students will be able to analyze and generate the results and do the report writing on all these things. So the main focus to mention the teaching assessment here is whatever we are expecting from a normal teaching course, that won't be affected by this COVID-19 at all. Similarly, if we go to the next slide here, in terms of the resources, so I have already mentioned these things. We are working hard to make sure that we give you all the resources required, not only to work whatever you are looking for while you are working in the campus, but engagement with the course outside the campus. For example, your involvement with the Blackboard, your involvement with the, if you want have any questions from your personal tutor or your module tutor, and you don't have the access, for example, don't have the access to the campus, or you can contact the module leader. There will be dedicated module shells for that. Through the module shell, you have the access to the students 24 to the module leader 24/7. So there will be all the resources in place, and there won't be anything which will say that will be affected in terms of student experience by the COVID-19. It will be as good. The students' experience from the our DMU students and the MSc module will be as good as our students was having in the previous years. Okay, in the next slide, please. These are the contact details for me. On the first one, course leader. I'm the course leader of the this program. On the second name, Dr. Fuad Hoshnu, he's not here, but he's the deputy program leader. So should you have any question related to the program or anything related to the MSc Mechanical Engineering, anything related to the engineering in general, or your engagement, other courses, whatever the questions you have, you could please feel free to send us the email or contact us, and we'll be more than happy to answer your queries. Thank you so much with that, and thank you so much, May. Over to you now.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Dr. Farouk, for taking us through that. Now I can see that we've got some questions coming through here. So one of the first ones is, what is the MSc Aeronautical Engineering accredited by? So Dr. Danny, I believe you can answer that for us.
Okay. As we are a new program, according to the Engineering Council of the UK, we can't actually have a full accredited until we have the first graduation. But we are actually planning to do with the IMEC and also the Royal Aeronautical Society. So there will be two similar to the MSc accreditation as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. I hope that answers the question there for you. And then we have a couple of questions from Amber as well. And she's also said she can't wait to join. So that's very nice to hear. So we look forward to seeing you at DMU too, Amber. And one of her first questions is, does the term start in September or October?
That shall I answer that question?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
The term will be starting from 5th of October.
Okay, fantastic. So we start on the 5th of October. And her other question is about the placements that you mentioned, Dr. Farouk. Does it have to be 12 months or could it be a 6-month placement?
The placement is basically that works from there are placement opportunities from the industries, and most of the placements are for the 12 months, but it depends on the industry. If they want someone to work on their specific project for 6 months, yes, it could be for 6 months as well. It could be somewhere in the middle as well, so it depends on the industries, but mostly they are 12 months long.
Okay, that's fine. That's brilliant. So if you have any other questions, just please keep asking them for us. So if we go to some other questions that we think students might want to find out about, perhaps what kind of student support do we have available to students? So what can they expect if they come and study engineering with us?
Okay, in terms of the reason is basically, I could understand the students are concerned is basically regarding the COVID. So what as a university we have decided and we have made the plan. There is a dedicated student portal where all the new cohort of the students plus special sessions in that portal. There will be special session for the engineering students, so they will be engaged with other students as well, and they will have the full experience of the DMU lifestyle. For example, they will be engaged in the societies through that portal. They will learn what other students are doing. There will be some social events through that portal as well. So there is a support available from the university in terms of if the students are not physically available on the campus, then there is some dedicated portals available from the students, which we are building up. And those portals, I have looked into it, and these portals look amazing. So it won't affect any student experience whatsoever.
Okay, that's great. And
I hope that answered the questions.
Yes, absolutely. And are there any sort of other extracurricular activities that students can get involved in or anything like that?
In terms of the extracurricular activities, there are a few clubs, which Dr. Danny has already mentioned. There is a DMU Racing Club, DMU Flight Club as well. There is DMU Electronics Club. So these are the things which are related to not related exactly to the curriculum, but still they are related to the building on skills. In terms of the extracurricular activities, there are societies available in the campus, several societies. So you just name it that there is a society available. For example, if I just mention the name, there is a society for DMU, for example, DMU Hot Balloon Society. So if someone is interested in doing the hot balloon, they could go to that. So I'm just mention one of the society. You just name it and you will find the society, DMU society there. And they are also developing their own specific portals. And then they will provide the links to the students should they want to join those societies, how they could join these societies while maintaining the social distancing and all these things.
That's great. Thank you very much. I know that you've both already talked about some of the fantastic equipment that we've got in the facilities as well. But I know in the comments, in fact, Amber said lab in a box sounds interesting, she said. So that was really nice to hear as well. But is there anything else you can tell us about the equipment? Is there anything that our students might like to know?
In terms of the equipment, what I would like to mention here that each and every module on the program is basically they have the labs, and mostly we have the dedicated labs and dedicated equipment for the MSc students basically. So the students basically, it depends on the nature of the experiment or whatever the lab session they are going to do, but sometimes there will be opportunity to work in a group on that particular equipment and perform the experiments. But there is lab for each and every module, and they will have the opportunity to work in that lab. And most importantly, what Danny has already mentioned, the reason I just try to keep my presentation short so that I give the most opportunity to the students to ask the questions. But if they want to get the information about the equipment, if they just Google DMU Montfort, for example, MSc Mechanical Engineering, there will be a page open, then they will get further information what type of equipment is available. And if you are particularly interested in any particular stream of the program, as I mentioned, there will be option for the students to choose the options, and just to mention, give an example, if you are interested in, for example, CFD, feel free to ask me the question, what type of software we have in CFD. Then I will give you the name of the CFD softwares which we use, the licenses, number of licenses we have, what equipment we have in terms of the experimentation to build on the skills of the CFD. So yeah, we have all these things. The reason in terms to make this session very in 1 hour long session, we couldn't give all this information, but feel free to look at the page. And still, if you have any question, feel free to send me the email, and I will be more than happy to answer that question. And if Danny would like to add anything in that one, please feel free.
No, I'm happy. It's a quite very lengthy and deep explanation already.
Thank you, Dr. Farouk. And then another question that might be of interest is, what advice can you give to students who've just finished their undergraduate study?
Okay, in terms of the okay, that's very broad questions. What I understood from the question, they wanted to see like if it is the Montfort University student or general students, and what in terms of the advice. That's very broad question, but in general, what I would say is basically they need to finalize their plans, what they are exactly looking for to do in their career, and depending upon their career, they need to see whether they need to develop some specific skill set, or if they need to work with the industry to find out what sort of things are hot in the industry these times, and then they need to finalize their plan accordingly. So it's a very broad question. I can't specifically say what you need to do right after the graduation, but in general, you need to finalize your plan, what your plans are, and work based on that.
Okay.
Do you like to add anything in this one, Danny?
Yes, I just want to add, I mean, because it's very difficult questions, like Dr. Farouk suggested already. Either you have two options. In the pandemic at this moment, it's very difficult to find a job. And that is the honest truth of the condition at this moment. So the alternative is you might be able to join with the master degree that we actually currently provided for you, or to join us, and then after a year, and hopefully the pandemic will actually go to be easing by the vaccine have been found by Oxford. So hopefully by next year the job market will come back into the full swing again, and then you already have the MSc. That is my other alternative view of, rather than you actually sit down at home, keep applying the job, and you don't get the job, you frustrated. To refresh your knowledge and to gain more knowledge, it could be better, or it's nothing wrong to join at the one of our MSc, at the mechanical or aeronautical or energy or anything, and that will actually be great knowledge to carry on and prepare you for the next year when the COVID actually hopefully will be gone. So that is my advice only.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. So we've got some questions as well from Esther, and she's asking, hi, I'm just joining. Is IELTS examination necessary for a Nigerian student? And she also adds that she's been taught in English all of her life, and English is the first language. So what we can say there is, if you email any queries like that to admissions@dmu.ac.uk, then they will be able to answer all of these questions for you, as well as your other question there, when is 2021 application starting? So yes, we've got a really good admissions team, and they will be able to advise you on all of those questions. So we'll put the email address in the chat for you. There it is as well. Okay, so does anybody have any more questions they would like to ask us? Please put it in the chat for us into the comment section. Okay, anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you can tell us that you'd like our potential students to know, Danny and Dr. Farouk?
In terms of the, this is what I was saying, but I just wanted to again keep my presentation short. That's why I didn't give the full information. So maybe I would like to mention here, Generally, for the lab sessions, we are trying to do 3 major things to run the lab sessions, specifically considering the pandemic effect. First one is what we are saying is lab in a box. So, but we are saying what equipment could be sent over to the students. And then we are basically, that depends on the module to module, and we are making those kits. And at the start of the course, those kits will be sent to the students. And when that module will be running, then they will have the opportunity to work with their module leader to work on those kits and do the experimentation at their place, wherever they are. The second thing is which we are looking at is to do the remote lab. So the remote lab is basically, the idea is basically to link, to run the session remotely, as we are talking at the moment right now, so that you could see what we are doing. That depends on depends on the experimentation. For example, the FEM based environment, finite element modeling. So there will be some dedicated session, the remote sessions, where you could see what the module tutor is basically telling you how to do specific steps and all these things, and then you will be able to do it at your place. Or you could access the university computer remotely and do the carry out the lab. And third strategy we are doing is basically to do the lab. For example, there is a possibility in the module where we're basically looking from a specific set of calculate to do some calculation. We need a specific set of data from a machine. So what we'll do, for example, we'll do a video how we are using a specific set of machine to perform an experiment and obtain the data, and that data will be sent over to the students so that they could do the necessary calculations, analyze the data, and discuss their recommendations based on the data. So these 3 techniques are basically we are considering to do the experiment and run the lab sessions. And fourth one is obviously is there if according to the government guidelines, if we manage to accommodate the number of students in the lab with the proper social distances, then definitely that fourth option is already there. So these 4 things I wanted to mention to the students.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and also we've got other ways as well, haven't we, that students can engage with the course whilst at home. So we've got things like the Blackboard and obviously the online lectures you've talked about as well. Now we've got another question that's come through about each of your courses. So can you please provide a unique selling point for each of our courses? What is it that makes each one so special?
Very good. Right. Okay. I'll go first because my program is new. So the reason that we developed the aeronautical is because aeronautical is a very important part of our life now, by traveling from one distance to long distance, and also it's very complex of it. So if you look in our module, and you can actually see we are slightly different from other university in the UK. Now, one of the advantage or USP for our program is one is you will have the learning tools that you actually have in industry exactly the same. Not exactly, sorry, I'm sorry. It's similar to the industry. We mimic similar to the industry, and you can actually learn from that. And also the teacher, the lecturer are actually experienced on that. And we still also bring some of the guest lecture from the Airbus that we actually talking to them already. So then you actually have the inside knowledge of the aircraft industry. And one of the modules that actually very rare is called maintenance and repair, which is actually every aircraft, even during the COVID, you have to maintain throughout. Otherwise, you will lose the license of the flight number of that aircraft. So you still have to maintain it. Now, the maintenance is very difficult. So that is our selling point, is you got maintenance, repair, and overhaul of that. But you also actually now, if you look everywhere in the world, they are using drone as well. So we actually develop a module that you actually understand on how to make the drone based on the drone principle. Then you got the aerodynamics. You also have the structure of it. Then you can actually design it by yourself when you actually graduate from it. So you have both knowledge of the aircraft maintenance and also the drone as well. So that is the unique selling point of the MSc Aeronautical Engineering.
Shall I add one more thing here, which Danny has already mentioned? Maybe just to elaborate it, Danny, you have already given all the detail. One thing is basically that could help the student more is the equipment which you mentioned. They have the equipment which is very similar to the industry, and that the specialty of that equipment, you could use the stalling conditions, which basically is when the spacecraft is in stalling. I'm not expert on the aerospace, the aeronautical things, but this is what when we both purchase the equipment and I learned from the other colleagues, is basically when the aircraft in the stalling conditions, which is very rare for the academic environment to have that kind of equipment.
Yeah, thank you.
And I believe it's my opportunity now to
Yes, absolutely. Yes, can you tell us what the USP is on your area, please?
Okay, the major thing I would like to mention here is the team on this program is the research engaged staff. So they are research active, and they bring it's not only they are doing their research separately and doing the teaching. So they incorporate their research into their teaching, which helps them to develop the state-of-the-art techniques into their teaching. Plus, they bring the examples from their research into the teaching, and that helps them, the students, to get the idea what that module leader is doing in his research, and that gives them the opportunity to get the project which is related to the research. And not only this, when students do the research on those projects, they get the opportunity to attend the international research conferences and publish the results in the research journals. They could, if the students who ask this question, if they go to the MSc Mechanical Engineering website, they could see some case studies of our recent MSc students who managed to do the research projects with our program module leaders, and then managed to publish the results in the international journals and conferences.
That's great. Thank you very much. Well, I hope that answers that question for you there. So I think, is there anything else further that either of you would like to talk about before we end the live stream, or do you think we've covered everything?
I think we covered everything. The student engagement was the thing you already mentioned. Sometimes the students, this is the reason I know, because I already got these two in the emails, questions like how the students will be engaged all the time, because if they are off campus and they don't have the access to the campus, then some of the students are worried about their engagement with the module leaders plus other students on their module. So there is no need to be worried about that one. We have very good Blackboard shells for each modules in the Montfort University. Each module have that shell, and on that shell there will be a particular discussion board. So students will have the discussions. They will be able to do the discussions in a group where rest of their class fellows will be able to see what they are discussing, or they will have the opportunity to discuss privately with their module leaders. And that is even better than the actual on-campus access, because that is 24/7. They could send the questions anytime to the program leader or module leader, whoever they want to discuss anything with, and they will be they will be very quick in answering the question. So that from some perspective, it is even better than being on campus and trying to find the relevant person for that specific query. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so just touching on that, obviously it's going to be on everybody's lips at the moment, asking what learning will look like and any concerns that they have. So we do have a couple of links for you that students can just check out if they've got any concerns about the coronavirus and your DMU future as well. So what this will tell you is how we're adapting and how we're working as a university to make sure that the students are getting the absolute best experience that they can, given the difficult and challenging circumstances. So do check out these two links as well, and we'll pop those in the comments for you to look at. And if you should have any specific questions that we haven't been able to answer today, or if you think of anything, then please do email our faculty directly. So you can send an email to chemadvicecentre@dmu.ac.uk, as well. So that's the email address to send any questions to, and we can always ask Dr. Danny, Dr. Farouk to answer those for you, or indeed any other academics in the area as well of engineering. So yeah, I think let me just see if there's anything else that's coming through. No, we haven't got any further questions at the moment. I think we've answered everything today. So that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Danny, Dr. Farouk, and also everybody who's been watching and asked all the questions. So we look forward to seeing you very soon at DMU, hopefully. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you very soon. Have a great rest of the day, and goodbye for now.
Bye everyone. Bye Amal, who is working in the background, and all the students who are watching the live stream. So looking forward to meet you guys.